And this next topic is a doozy. We were talking about Scottie Pippen at the end of the last hour, Ephraim. Scottie's out in Vegas, and as Scottie is wont to do, he's running his mouth. And look, first of all, congratulations, his son, Scottie Pippen Jr., playing with the Lakers.
Yeah, he balling too.
So yeah, and I'm happy for Scottie and his son. That's great. But Scottie's talking about a host of things. We just talked about last segment, where he said that, he's all for Kevin Durant and what he's doing. You and I disagree. And we think sometimes these players in some cases have gone too far. And I'll just say this quickly about player empowerment, Ephraim, and then we'll move on to Scottie's other comments. And we have those on tape. LeBron James is the architect, if you will, of player empowerment, and rightly so. But LeBron James has always been professional about what he's doing. He has never asked for a trade when he's under contract. He's never sat out. He's never quit on a team. He's played out his contract and gave his all to win a championship up until the last moment for those teams. And then when he's a free agent, he takes his right as a free agent and goes where he wants. And then, Ephraim, if he's not sure about his long-term commitment to a team, he signs a one-year deal. He doesn't just sign, give me 4 or 5 years, give me the max, and then a year later demand a trade. I want that security, and then I want my freedom as well. No, he signs a one-year deal. He forsakes the security for the freedom because he understands business. And Ephraim, LeBron is going to be an owner in the NBA.
Yes.
I think he's going to get that team in Las Vegas. Whenever they put a team in Vegas, I think LeBron will be in ownership. And you won't be able to say about him, he, now he's singing a different tune. He's played by the rules. Now, if you want to say, LeBron got involved with player decisions and now he wants the players to, abide to him and the GM, okay. But LeBron, don't put LeBron in the camp of James Harden, who quit on 2 teams, Kevin Durant, who's asking out for a trade after 4 years left on his deal. He's none of those guys. He has done it the right way. But Scottie Pippen, here's what he said about today's era of player and the competition versus when he played in the 90s, Ephraim.
Watching these players, the stamina, just the pace of the game. This is a tough game. I mean, to keep up with this pace, and you got to be able to make shots. So if you're not making shots, you're going to be sitting over there with the coach. So I think this is a tougher era to be successful in because you need to be able to shoot the basketball. And bottom line, I mean, there's guys that can get to the hole and create opportunities, but the guys that shoot the basketball from range are much more valuable in today's game.
Now, I want you to comment first on that, Ephraim, but here's what I would say. I'm going to throw this out. I might be wrong, but I can't help but feel that every time Scottie Pippen makes some type of comment like this, it's a subtle jab at his teammate Michael Jordan. Like, Jordan's not the GOAT because he played in an easier era. LeBron, I don't know if you'll say it's LeBron or who, this era is tougher, so the GOAT can't come from my era. But that's just my thinking. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm projecting. But what are your thoughts on this, Ephraim?
Yeah, I think Scottie's bitter. We know that.
Right.
Scottie seems to want to tear down anything dealing with his era. I mean, it's the same man who came out and said he was probably the greatest player to ever play, which I get, but, it's all about having confidence in yourself is one thing. Just being crazy is another, right? Because the 2 years Jordan, or year and a half Jordan wasn't there. You didn't, where are the championships, Scottie?
Right.
Right? Where's the MVP, Scottie? Right? So having Scottie Pippen talk about it's harder now in the NBA, I don't agree with that. Because the one thing we know you can do, I played basketball a long time. Chris, you may have played a couple times. I don't know. Maybe.
I played in college.
8th grade. D4.
College.
Is D4 at college?
Three.
D3? Okay.
3.
That's almost like a community college, right? It's almost like.
We played a few.
Okay, well that's fine. Look, and I'm not trying to disparage your basketball acumen. But what I
know I got game now.
Okay, well, you got this talk game.
I've been on the court. A little quick aside. I've been on the court with NBA players in celebrity games and won MVP. I'm just saying.
Well, I know how they give those
Charles
MVPs
Smith,
out. So
Felipe Lopez, and I came away with the MVP. Just saying.
How many points did you have that game?
21, 7 to 10 from the field, 4 threes.
Okay.
Including a 4-point play. I was on fire. It was my last great game.
No one remembers their stats from an exhibition game but Chris Broussard. Where is that MVP trophy right now?
And the place, Ephraim, it's right here on my mantle in my studio.
Funny, man.
The place was packed. It was like going back to high school or college. 1,500 people packed at Christ the King High School in Queens, where Lamar Odom and all these guys went. And we had rappers Wale, Jadakiss, Irv Gotti. But it's them NBA players that I mentioned, some college players, and your boy shined the bright.
Okay,
I'm just saying.
That was a hell of a sidetrack. But anyway, as I was saying, there's one thing I know that you can do, which I don't understand when players don't do it, is you can work on your shot. Right? And if you can shoot, then there's a place for you in the NBA today. You don't even have to play defense anymore. Think about that. You don't have to play defense anymore. If you can shoot, there's a place for you in today's NBA. Right? Can't touch players anymore. Right. So guys come into the league now without being able to go off the dribble. They're catch and shoot guys.
Right.
They learn as they get. Clay was a catch and shoot guy. Right? When he came into the league. Now he can take you off the dribble, but that's something that they learn after they're in the league. So to make a statement like you didn't have it was hard, it's harder now to get into the league than it was then. No, because now there are more avenues. Look what social media has done for these young up and coming stars. It did it with Zion. Right. At 14, social media made Zion a superstar. So every college in the world was looking at his social media feed.
Absolutely.
And coming to see him, right? Seems like there was no social media back then. I remember me being in college. I was getting letters from school, and I'm like, how do they know? Right? Like, how do they know me up here in Northern California, this small school, brand new school? How do they? And I started getting my first letter. I was 14 years old. I was sophomore in high school. Got my first letter from Illinois University. And I was like, oh, my God, why did that even happen? So, no, it's a lot easier to pique an interest, to get colleges interested, and then to build up this following that follows you on top of you can perfect your shooting. You can work on your shot. You may not be a defensive stopper. It's okay. It's okay.
Yeah, here. Look, I do think I'll say this: the players today are more "quote unquote" athletic, jumping ability, speed than ever.
Well, that's just evolution.
I'll give, and speed is close because obviously you had some burners. You've always had burners.
Yeah.
But in terms of jumping ability, like athletic, what we kind of view as athletic, long. Jumping ability, all that. I'll give them that. They shoot, particularly with range, better than ever, right? Mm-hmm. Deeper shots.
Surely cannot do mid-range.
Right, because they don't even, a lot of them don't even try.
No.
And dribbling, they handle the ball better than ever. In part, Ephraim, because they allow you to carry.
Yeah,
you're a little younger than me, but you're of that era where we were taught ball on the hand on top of the ball. Occasionally, you get it on the side, but guys now, they are just, it's blatant. Under the ball.
You can discontinue your dribble.
Yes. And I was talking to Antoine Walker about this. I said, man, and I'm not even, I'm all serious. I'm not saying I would have made the NBA. I wouldn't have, all that. But, my handle would have been,
we know.
Ephraim, my handle would have been so much better had I just been allowed to carry and palm the ball. And that goes for all of the greats. The Isaiah Thomas is as great as his handle was, and I do think he's on the Mount Rushmore of handles. But they weren't carrying it like these dudes. You said you can discontinue your dribble, which is what dudes do, and they're palming it and they let it go. So, but all those things they do better: athleticism, ball handling, shooting with range. And I think, and Kerry Kittles has talked to us a lot about this on the show, the floor is spread, so the defense is different. It's not as defensive as it used to be, because it used to be at a hand check and be more physical. But you do have to cover more ground. Like, big men got to get out there on the three-point line at times.
You got to be athletic out there. Yep.
Right. So you have to move your feet more, and you're not as close to the paint. If you watch old school 80s, 90s, you could see the game expanding out a little in the late 90s or in the 90s. But 80s, 90s, it is eye-popping how much closer the game was played to the basket. It's all around the paint. And so here's what the players today don't do as well. They don't have any post play, offensively or defensively. So guys aren't great post players offensively, don't have a ton of moves down there, and they aren't great post defenders. So we saw it from in the NBA Finals. Al Horford, a center, 6'10", could not take advantage of Steph Curry, 6'3", in the post. Right. Couldn't take advantage of him.
I was furious when I see big guys do that. Go to the hole, it's on a switch, you got a little behind you, and then you jump in the air and fling the ball out 28 feet to the three-point line. It drives me nuts. There's no way. First of all, you throw the ball into me, you better come in and get the rebound.
Yes.
It's going up.
And you better double me or you getting exposed.
Up. Period.
Thank you. And so that's a big part. And then you hear this all the time. Oh, well, if you get him, it's going to clog up the paint. One person in the paint. We want 4 out, right? One guy with the ball and 4 out or 5 out or whatever. Ephraim, go look at Michael Jordan tapes. Go look at old school. When they drove to the hole, Isaiah Thomas, and those dudes drove. Dudes penetrated. It would be 6, 7 dudes in the paint. The opponent, your teammates, and you had to be able to finish.
You got to finish.
And on top of it, you might get clobbered. Right?
It was an era of toughness.
Yes.
All right.
That was basketball.
You have to finish through contact.
Yes. I wasn't some great player in the grand scheme, but I knew how to go to the basket and try to finish in traffic. Right?
Yes.
I'm just saying, at any level, it wasn't like the lanes got to be wide open for me to drive.
No.
That's all I'm saying.
You got guys going. Ben Simmons had a dunk, right? And threw the ball. Like, the mentality, the mindset to me now is skewed. I remember watching the game last year. It was a 3-on-0 fast break. The point guard stops at the three-point line. The two wings also.
Oh, yeah, I think that was Denver.
Yeah, they lost the game. They also stopped at the three-point line. And the point guard was like, nobody's cutting to the basket.
I don't even think they needed a 3.
No, they were down by 1 point.
It just...
But that's the mentality. That's what's going on right now. So you can't tell me it's harder right now.
Well, that's right. Because if you want to say, and I'll give today's games more spread out, you do have to be able to shoot for the most part.
You got more room, though.
But that game back in the day was tougher. You had to be able to handle more physicality.
Yep.
You had to be able to finish in traffic. You had to go against hand checking. Hand checking, where defender could kind of guide you where you needed to go, where he wanted you to go. And then here's the final thing, Ephraim. And this is, to me, this is the the kicker. Guys today don't know how to play 5-man basketball like back in the day. They play 1 or 2-man. ISO, I can take you off the dribble, got crazy handle, or I can shoot the J, or drop a high pick and roll and drive and kick. That's 1-man or 2-man basketball.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why the Warriors, who aren't the most talented team in the league, and that goes back to 2015. They weren't until they got Durant. You give them that. But the other years, they weren't the most talented team in the league, but they play 5-man basketball.
Movement.
Everybody touches it. Everybody's involved. And the Spurs, Ephraim, when they won it in 2014, they were old.
Yeah.
And they beat a far more athletic and talented team in the Heat. I know they were a bit banged up. It ran through them in the finals because they played 5-man basketball.
It's hard to guard a team when they're playing 5-man basketball. Number one, the lack of defensive efficiency is not there, which was to me, it was a breath of fresh air to watch Golden State and the Boston Celtics play in the finals because both teams play team defense.
Right.
They both play team defense. And, what happened was Boston played into their hands because they got real stagnant. They started relying on the three or trying to hit the three, playing one-on-one basketball, stop moving, stop the movement, stop the motion. And that was because of the defensive efficiency and pressure that Golden State was playing.
Right.